Hey guys, welcome to the Brofessional Development Podcast. We're going to talk about current events. We touch on the state of inflation at an all-time high of 8.6. We talk about Netflix. We compare the 2007 housing market to what's going on today. And then we talk about why Yadier Molina puts out more than anyone in the major leagues. What a fucking slut. Tune in. Let us know what you think. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, welcome to the Brofessional Development Podcast. Today is episode 93. We got a current events episode with myself. It's Matt, and then Bobby and Sal. Guys, what's going on?
What's up?
John, how are you?
Wait, do you not have a microphone?
What?
Sal, what the fuck are you doing?
So Sal is just, he ate a, so Sal's either high, he keeps on complaining about how he had to wait an hour and a half for a sandwich from Gramophone and how he's tired and needs a nap. So he's just basically being a big old bitch today.
We also found something else out about Sal today. Sal hasn't been to a Bros in Business meetup in quite some time. And one time it was like a trivia. One time, I don't know, another bullshit excuse. And so I asked if he was going tomorrow. He's like, no, man. And I was like, buddy, what's up? And he goes, I just don't like sitting there for 3 hours. It's just like, fuck it. I don't like it. That's it.
Sal, you got nothing else to say? The worst part about it is he seemed like he was into it. We were like, Sal, do you want to get up there and talk about what you want to do? You want to get into sports marketing. There's a lot of people here that can help you. And then he got up there. They gave him all this great advice. He comes back next month. An entire month goes by, 30 days plus, and gets up there and hasn't done anything. So Sal, what the fuck?
Are you going to say something?
I mean, I just don't like sitting there for 3.5 hours.
Well, that's fair. Honestly, though, Sal, we could use some feedback, right? We're trying to grow as a business and an organization. So if you don't like it, maybe tell us what we could get better at, right?
Okay, true. I feel like 3.5 hours is too long.
Okay, maybe we shorten it.
Okay.
Maybe we take that feedback. Drop it in the feedback file.
Yeah. I'll send an email to myself.
Okay.
Leave a note I'll send an email to myself.
Yeah,
put it in the suggestion box.
So we are going to do kind of just an update on current events. Before we get into that, is there anything in particular in your guys' lives you got going on that you want to touch on?
Oh my gosh, I don't think so.
Okay.
Nothing big, man. Just working a lot. That's it. How about you?
No. I mean, nothing of importance. So we'll just kind of jump into what's going on. So obviously, we got to talk about the market a little bit. When everybody April, when everybody was hoping that inflation prices had peaked then, the numbers came in on Friday, and we're at 8.6% inflation since May of last year, which is the fastest increase since December of 1981. So it's looking more and more like we're going to be heading into a recession, which is essentially, 2 quarters of 2 consecutive decline in quarters of GDP. So I think the big thing that I'm taking from this is like everybody, when they think recession, they think the Great Recession because that's the last one that we had. There has been recessions in the past that have happened and kicked in, and they're not as noticeable. So again, it's just a decline over 2 consecutive quarters. So it doesn't have to be crazy. But then again, inflation, every month we think it's going to stop, and it keeps going up and up.
So the inflation shit, whenever I hear inflation, all I can think about is what the dollar used to be valued at versus what a dollar back in 1985 would be worth on days like today. I guess whenever I think of inflation now, I think of look at the price of gas, like that obviously going way up. Are there other, outside of like the stock market and stuff like that, are there noticeable indicators that people should be, because I don't even know, looking out for that's like, oh, fuck, yeah, this got more expensive?
Yeah, and so there's, so basically it's like they'll have it like kind of tailored off into sectors and then take the whole. And so that's what that 8.6% is. But just like for instance, like they look at every area, like they look at vehicles, right? Used vehicles, that's a pretty hot item, especially since COVID happened. And so last month, actually, or a month or two ago, used car prices went down in terms of like their like price, I guess, for the first time in a long time. And so people were thinking that that's a good sign. And then it went back up this month. And so used cars alone, like that section of like the GDP is up 16% in the last year. So GDP is, let's see, so it's gross domestic product. So it's total value of goods produced and services provided in a country during a year. So used cars is basically one sector of that. So then they take all of that based off its dollar amount, how much it's worth, and that's where they get the total inflation. Yeah. And I could be a little bit wrong on that. Again, I'm fairly new to it, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, not something that I am super familiar with. All I know is that if something like that happens, that just means that we all got to start making more money.
Yep. Yes, we do all have to start making more money.
And you know, one of the things that we don't have on our Shoot the Shit segment here, we didn't have a chance to even talk about the lake trip, did we? There wasn't an episode where we did.
No, because
maybe it's something that we save with
let's wait
Dan
till
and
everybody's.
Brad.
Yeah, let's wait till
when they're
everybody's
here.
on.
But
yeah,
it was a good time.
Oh, 100%.
that.
Yeah. So a couple of other things that are, I guess, notable. So one of the things I saw, this Coinbase, right? Let's see, 1,100 employees at Coinbase were laid off. That's 18% of its workforce. And they were laid off via personal email because they blocked all their employees from using their actual work email before telling them that they were fired, which is pretty up there in terms of like how to fire somebody. Like we used to give, better.com a bunch of bullshit when they did it over the Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty shitty way. And then also they had to rescind hundreds of offer letters for recent recruits of people that had just given notice and were getting ready to go work there.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Real shitball. And then Netflix. So this is another one that I had. So it looks like Netflix is finally deciding to evolve. So they've been so anti like live sports. Like for the longest time in 2018, their co-CEO Reed Hastings said, "We don't do live news, we don't do live sports, but what we do is we try to do really well." And then after that, like Amazon got exclusive rights to 15 Thursday night football games, which starts in 2023. Disney added 75 regular season NHL games on ESPN Plus and Hulu. Peacock locked in the Premier League and the Olympics and the AVP, but I don't really talk about the AVP. And then Paramount Plus got the Masters and March Madness. The list goes on and on and on. Well, obviously Netflix stock has just been tanking like more and more and going down and down. So they are actually trying to get in with F1, Formula One. So they're in a bidding war or however they are to try to get some rights for that. And a lot of it has to do with, I guess, from what I hear, their super popular series that came out, F1. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not.
Haven't watched it yet. Sal, have you watched it?
I'm never really got into like NASCAR or like Formula One. I can never sit there and watch it.
It's on my list, so I added it to my list of things that I need to watch. But it sounds like
people will murder you for putting those in the same sentence. Just so you know.
Yeah,
right. Those are very
I do want to
different.
see them like want to go to like a live sporting event, and I missed the chance to go like a couple weeks ago. But
oh yeah, whenever they were here at Gateway,
they did pretty well. So I'm hoping they come back.
Yeah,
again.
that was NASCAR, by the way.
Yeah,
that was
I got
NASCAR.
that. Formula One was in Miami, and NASCAR was here.
Yeah, and that just goes to show you how big because Formula One is all in Europe, right? Until they do something in the U.S. And when they do it in the U.S., it's like they do it in Miami or they do it in Las Vegas. And from what I hear, the F1 show is just about people with a fuck ton of money, and then like the ins and outs of actual this. I've heard it's a really good series.
So it seems like Netflix is trending towards the direction of being the next Redbox, as far as just like something that is completely irrelevant if they don't get on their shit and start doing some live streaming, whether that's sports or some show. I don't know how they could do it, but there's so many different streaming platforms. It's hard to keep up with them. Now it just seems like, all right, I'm gonna ask my brother if I can use his Hulu account. I'm gonna ask this person if I can use their Disney Plus account. And I don't even know. Do you have cable anymore?
I've never had cable.
I don't have cable. No, I don't fuck with cable.
I don't either. And Shelby's been all over me. She's like, I need to watch my shows. And I was like, what channels do you watch? And she's like, well, I like to watch 90 Day Fiance and one other show. And I was like, what channels are those on? And she's like, TLC and Bravo. And I like went onto the app and I was like, boom, now you have TLC and Bravo. I'm not paying an extra $100 a month for us to have 1,000 channels where you use 2 of them.
Yeah. No, I don't mess with that
Won't
anymore.
those show be on like Hulu and stuff though?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of them obviously are predicated on like when they come out, like, and then they're like on actual like live TV.
Yeah.
And then obviously some of them are just dedicated to whatever streaming service that it is. So I don't know exactly.
Well, they
how
do
those
that,
work.
but then once they like show it live the very next day or like a couple hours, they post it on Hulu or something. So that's why I always like catch up on episodes because they posted the following.
So it's like you just got to like watch it a day later or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
TBD.
Yep. I had one more thing that I was going to touch on.
What you got?
So I wanted to just kind of touch on the real estate market as I'm getting more and more into it. So I guess one of the trends that I'm seeing right now is a lot of people think it's a bad time to buy real estate. And, you know, in terms of like, hey, the prices have gone up. Yeah. Like things are 100% more expensive. I think prices of housing went up 17%, but so did rent went up the exact same amount in 2021 nationally. So they think that they're just kind of waiting to buy a house because they think because like we're looking to be maybe going to a recession or the stock market's kind of tanking, that is going to play into the housing market. And at the end of the day, it's like the housing market is predicated on one thing and one thing only, just like any good, right? It's supply and demand. So there is still a fuckload of people wanting to buy real estate and not many houses whatsoever. I don't, and again, nobody can really predict this, but based off like what I've been listening to, I don't see the housing market go down. I see an opportunity for, and when I say go down, I mean drastically, right? Like prices could drop about 5%, you know, but from what I'm seeing, like there's literally like 2007, right before the market crashed, there was literally, we have 50% of the inventory right now that we did in 2007. So if that gives you any indicator. So people are still looking to buy real estate. There's so much demand right now that it's not all just going to disappear. Yeah, if we go into a recession, people are going to cut back on things. Less people are going to buy houses, but there's still such a demand out there that I don't see it happening for a while. And some people are even saying that houses will continue to go up, not as crazy, but still rise in value over the next up to 5 years before we actually see a decrease in it because there is such a demand for houses right now.
So I'm not nearly as well versed in this stuff as you are, but so in 2008, whenever the last big crash was, I was graduating. I was high school, so I didn't know anything. So in 2008, what did that do because that was a really big deal for the real estate market, right?
Yes.
So did that basically just mean people weren't selling, people weren't buying, and is that why that was a big deal in 2008? And is that what they're worried is going to happen again here in 22?
Nobody's actually, like anybody that knows anything about real estate is not actually worried about that happening. So the big thing there, so that was the real estate market crashed, right? Or the bubble burst. The thing about bubbles is you don't actually know you're in a bubble until something bursts. But the big difference, so it was the exact opposite. So back in 2007, there was so many houses being built. There's a movie called The Big Short. If you're ever interested to see how it went, go watch that. And it's like you would, in The Big Short, they literally kind of depict pretty much what happened, which was like people were doubling down on like the real estate is going to continue to rise, that they were building and building and building. And it was getting to the point where there were so many neighborhoods, like not just vacant houses, vacant brand new builds of neighborhoods that people just weren't going in. Also, the mortgage lending world was the wild, wild west. Like they would give out a fucking loan to anybody. Like in The Big Short, they're literally at a strip club in Miami and they're sitting there talking to this chick about like, okay, this was your loan officer. How'd you go through your loan process? And they were like, she's got no credit. She's got no whatever. And then they found out she had 7 houses. So it's like there was no vetting process. They were just literally just dishing them out to whoever, making whatever commissions they could. Now there's more restrictions. And then the big thing that happened was these ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages. So right now, everything's for the most part is 30-year fixed, right? Especially like 2021, right? I got like a 2.25% interest rate over 30 years. I'll never touch that, right? That's the lowest I will ever get it. And it's guaranteed over 30 years. They did these ARM interest rates where they're like, hey, we're going to give you this teaser to start out, which is like a really low interest rate. But after, let's say 5 years, I think it is, like that can go anywhere, right? Based off how the market's doing. I don't really know how it adjusted, right? But look at it this way. It's like if you're in 2002, they started giving these out. So everybody's buying them by 2007, that 5 years is up, right? And so then it just adjusts to whatever, right? And I don't know how it's predicated, but basically it's like if it goes from 2.2 to like 7%, like you're adding so much fucking money on your monthly payment that a lot of people can't afford their mortgage payment. So that's when you get defaults. That's when you get people not being able to pay their mortgage. And that's when you get like foreclosures and all this other bullshit. So kind of, and there's more to it. Again, I'm still like kind of trying to like educate myself on it. But those were the biggest contributing factors. One, nobody was there to buy houses. Two, once these adjustable rates went up, it's like nobody could afford their actual mortgage. So nobody was really buying. And then everything went to shit. But The Big Short, basically these guys found it, figured it out, and tried to tell people, and nobody would listen to them.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You're very smart, man. Very researched individual.
Hey, thanks, dog. What do you guys got?
Yeah. Shit. I know Sal had some sports updates for us.
Yep. So a couple of days ago, I think it was yesterday, doubleheader, Yachty broke the record for
most putouts.
Putouts. Okay, what exactly is a putout?
He puts out more than any other catcher in the entire majors.
He just gives up the
But
goods.
what exactly, like, is
It's basically like recording an out.
like normally or like those pop-ups?
Any out, I think.
Any out, yeah.
Okay, and then,
No,
that
if
makes-
it was that many pop-ups, I actually did the math on it earlier, and I wonder if I still have. I won't do it now because it'll fuck up the recording. But that is the equivalent of like 559 inning baseball games. Is how many putouts that would have been. But saw that, and not only did he break that record, but Michaelis came within one out. He was down to a final strike for a no-hitter, and Harrison Bader couldn't make the catch in center. But the Cardinals are hot, man. They're in first place now, 2.5 games up on the Brew Crew, and Goldschmidt yesterday 3 home runs, 8 RBIs in the doubleheader.
Yep, and then I think the first part of the doubleheader, that 4th inning, we were like down 2 outs. Someone hit a grounder, and it was like the weirdest play where our first baseman, Sosa, ran from first base to second base, passed it,
Gorman did.
got safe, and then we got a run in, but
Yep.
then got out afterwards, and
Yep.
we still got that run in though. So that was pretty cool because I've never seen that happen before.
Yeah, hard to explain over this. If you're curious what Sal's talking about, check out the interwebs.
True, very true.
But yeah, I did see that today.
And then Brittany Griner's still in Russia, and then
She's still detained. She's been there since February.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know much about it, but obviously it would suck to not be able to come back home and be stuck in fucking Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then the Bruins ex-coach Bruce Cassidy signed with Vegas Golden Knights. Don't know why he got fired though, but he's with Vegas now.
Yeah, well, he couldn't beat the Blues a couple years ago and can't make it too far since then.
Yeah, I mean he's been to the playoffs all 6 years.
Mhm.
He's been there. So I mean, I don't know if he was just the fall guy or something.
Sometimes looking for a change, right? Sometimes they want a little bit more than the playoffs. Also, it reminds me of, who was the NBA coach that won Coach of the Year and then also got fired that same year?
Fizdale or something? Or no, or was it the Toronto head coach?
I think it was a Toronto head coach.
Was it Nick Nurse?
It's like Henry or something.
So
Alvin
Dwayne
Hendrick?
Casey won Coach of the Year and got fired by the Raptors 2 days after winning the award. So they just, they had made their decision apparently like a long time ago, but that's crazy. It's insane to me. Yeah,
That's a bummer
it is.
for that guy.
You guys got anything else? I know.
No, man. I think that's all we got today. We got some fun updates for next week. Shoot the shit if we can get the whole crew together.
For sure.
Catch up on the lake.
Yep. Okay, cool. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in. If you are getting any value out of this podcast whatsoever, we'd appreciate you going on one of the major platforms, giving us a 5-star review. Also, write a little something. If we find a funny review on there that makes fun of any or all of us, we'll read it on the show.
Sal, so maybe that's your opportunity to give some fucking feedback, since you don't want to show up to anything.
Sal sucks.
Fuck
All right,
yourself.
guys. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Deuces.